Alright, you guys, this setup should look familiar to you because in my last video, I was sitting right here too because I just got done filming it about 30 seconds ago. So I'm going to put a hat on though so it looks different. Let's rock and roll. Alright, you guys, how are we all doing? Good, I hope. You know, I told you guys I'd be covering a couple topics of things that you guys wanted to see about living out of my car. Today, the topic I am covering is living out of my car with my dog. My tips and tricks for traveling with a dog, living out of a car with a dog, things I do with Blue, that whole gist and subject. You get it. You guys wanted me to do a video on it. Here I am. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Maria. My dog and I, Blue, my Australian Shepherd, we have been traveling the country for the past 2 years. We are on like a 50-state / North American road trip because we're doing some of Canada in it as well. Most of Canada, like the lower part. Yeah, so I've been living out of my car in and out for the past 2 years with like a couple hiatuses in there, but that doesn't matter. I do that all with my Australian Shepherd Blue. He is everything to me, but we'll get to that. First tip that I have for traveling with your dog, road tripping with your dog, living out of a car with your dog. First thing I want to say to you guys, this should go without saying, but I think it is worth touching on. Please, 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 if you are going to be traveling with your dog or living out of a small confined area with your dog, put your dog first. That is the first thing I have to say. Put your dog first. Make sure that you are thinking about that animal above yourself at all times. You have to realize as a dog owner, your dog's quality of life depends on you. Every decision that you make affects that dog. The time that they spend, where they spend it, what they're doing, their exercise, their food, everything depends on you. So make sure you are putting your dog first. Tip number 2 is know your dog. And I know you guys are going to be like, I know my dog. Why are you saying that? No, like, know your dog. What is your dog like? What are your dog's vices? Does your dog have anxiety? Does your dog have travel anxiety? Do they get car sick? Is your dog aggressive? Does your dog not like men? Does your dog need a ton of attention? Does your dog bolt? Like, what does your dog do? And know their limits. I know that people want to travel with their dogs and they don't want to like leave them behind if they're going on a road trip and they think it'd be super fun to take their dog with them. I agree. Obviously, I am road trip queen. I get it. I wanted Blue there too. And that's why he's with me, but he is there because he loves this road trip more than I do. I swear, this lifestyle is meant for my Aussie. He loves that we're always on the go. He does not mind the car at all. He's a gem in the car usually. He loves that we're outside all day. He loves that he's with me 24/7. If you guys own Aussies, you know what I mean when they're like stuck to your hip at all times. Like that dog does not leave me for anything. Like I can't even go to the bathroom without him sitting outside my door and like guarding it. But if your dog is not like that, please do not travel with your dog if it is not within their limits. And that's what I mean by know your dog. If your dog gets car sick, you probably shouldn't be shoving them in a car to go on a month-long road trip with you, or they definitely should not be living out of a car with you if that is something that gives them anxiety, things like that. For example, me knowing Blue, there are some things that I have to do specifically for him that I wouldn't have to do if I had, like, let's say my mom's dog with me or another breed with me, or you get the gist. My dog specifically, being an Aussie, he needs just as much mental exercise as he does physical exercise, and I know that. So every single day that dog needs to play fetch because that is his job as a working breed. That's what he considers to be his work. It's what he gets the most stimulation out of, both physical and mental, is playing fetch. I know at least bare minimum once a day that dog needs a half hour of fetch. If he does not get that, he becomes bored, he becomes restless, he is crazy to handle. I can't get anything done. I can't get anything done. I can't vlog. I can't get my day started if Blue isn't happy. So I need to make sure that he is happy and well exercised. Usually he's playing fetch 2 to 3 times a day. That's where he's his most happy. But I know that is something, knowing Blue, that I have to do for him. Another thing, Blue does not like men. He's not necessarily aggressive towards them, but if I am meeting up with someone who is a guy, or if I'm going to talk to someone who is a guy, I have to reassure Blue before I greet that person. That is something I know about him and something I'm aware of and that I have to do. Another thing too is Blue, one thing that I'm very, very lucky in, and it probably is more Australian Shepherd breed specific, but he is the most loyal dog ever, like I've ever seen in my life. Blue will not leave my side. Sometimes I get comments where people are like, you shouldn't let your dog off leash. You don't know what's going to happen when wildlife comes around, or if he could bolt. But Blue does not bolt. He doesn't bolt for wildlife. He doesn't bolt for anything besides a tennis ball. Okay, like that's his kryptonite. That is the only thing he will leave my side for. And I mean that seriously. Like if we're walking down a trail, he'll walk 10 feet ahead of me, loop back around, check on me, loop back, loop back, loop back, loop back. That dog does not leave my side. And that works out for me in this road trip. But again, like those are just examples for you. Know your dog. Okay, cool. A big thing, especially if you guys are road tripping or traveling with your dogs, which I guess I should stop saying because that is the purpose of this video. So I'm going to assume that you are watching this because you are considering traveling with your dog or living out of a car with your dog. So I'm gonna just stop prefacing it because I feel like I preface it like all the time. Research where you are going before you go and make sure it's dog friendly. Blue is a registered service dog. You guys have probably heard me say that 100 times by now, but he wasn't always. I did about the first year or so of the road trip with him just being considered a pet, and he was not allowed places with me. Now he is. He's allowed anywhere with me. I used to have to research everything. So I would go on the website Bring Fido. That is a huge tip I would give you guys. I put that in my resources or apps I like to use when traveling. Whatever that video was, I posted a couple months ago. Bring Fido is a big resource. It's a website that gives you all of the dog-friendly restaurants, activities, hotels, things like that. Just resources of places you can go with your dog in an area that you're looking for. Because the worst thing, and I can tell you, is like driving all the way somewhere and being super excited to see something and then realizing you can't bring your dog with you. So definitely make sure that you guys are researching and that you can bring your dog everywhere you're going. A lot of people ask me what goes on with Blue if I have to run into stores or whatever. Blue, like 85% of the time will go in with me to any gas station, store, anywhere that I go. He comes with me. The only time I leave him in the car is if he's like sleeping or tired, or the gym is usually the only place I won't take Blue with me just because it's like there's no reason for him to go in there with me. Okay, next tip. Please don't leave your dog in a hot car. That is common sense, I know, but just be overly cautious about your dog's temperatures. For example, Blue does not do well in the heat. Obviously, he's an Australian Shepherd. He has a double coat. He has like an undercoat and all that stuff. He gets overheated very easily. I know for a fact that when Blue gets overheated, he gets sick and he throws up and he pees himself. And pees himself, I mean like we'll be in the car. He could be sitting on my lap and he'll pee all over me if he's overheated. And he's done that since he was a puppy. Like if he's overheated, he's got to go. He doesn't feel well, whatever. So I know that Blue does well in cold climates. Like we can literally sleep in my car in 0-degree temperatures at night and he won't even want to be in the sleeping bag with me. He'll get out of the sleeping bag with me and just like lay by himself and curl in a ball because he loves cold weather, doesn't do well in the heat. I also know that if I'm sleeping in my car, that if it is 70 degrees or above at night, it is too hot to sleep in my car with Blue. He is too uncomfortable. So then that's when we will move out of my car and we'll actually camp, and I'll pull out my tent because it's cooler. So 69 degrees and below, Blue is okay to sleep in the car with me. Other than that, it's too hot. So like if you were to have a Chihuahua, that Chihuahua is not going to have the same situation as Blue. That dog is not going to do well in 0-degree temperatures at night, but might be better at 70 degrees inside your car sleeping. Whatever it may be, just be very, very careful of temperatures with your dog because they can literally die if you're not careful. So there's that. Another thing I have to say, or one thing that I do as a rule of thumb for Blue, you can do what works for you. Every time that I go to the bathroom, I let Blue go to the bathroom, and he always goes before I do anything in the morning. So first thing I do in the morning when I wake up, Blue goes to the bathroom. Before I go to the bathroom, before I do anything, Blue goes to the bathroom. And same thing at night. The last thing that I do before I fall asleep is I let Blue go to the bathroom. Now, the reason I say let your dog go every time you do is because I pee every single hour. If you are not like me, you might need to take your dog out more frequently, but that's just my rule of thumb. Always like over allow your dog to go to the bathroom, and always over offer water as well. Especially if you're traveling, your dog will probably need more water than if they're just like chilling at home because it's like new surroundings, and if your dog has anxiety, you get what I mean. The whole point of this is pretty much just like be a good dog owner. You know what I'm saying? One thing to make sure you guys stock up on poop bags. My mom, when I left for this road trip, bought me like 1,000 pack off of Amazon of poop bags, and I'm still going through them right now, like 2 years later. I still have them. But it's like the worst when you're somewhere and you have to pick up after your dog and you have nothing on you. So always make sure that you are well stocked in that. And then the last two things that I have for you guys as far as tips of living with your dog out of your car or if you're traveling, make sure your dog is on a tick preventative. I learned this the hard way because, well, actually Blue was on a tick preventative, but then it failed and I went to Kentucky with him in the gorge. I forget what it's called. It's not the Royal Gorge because that's Colorado. There's a gorge in Kentucky, a famous one. You guys will know what I'm talking about if you're from there. But I took Blue there for my 24th birthday, and he got like 25 ticks, and it was horrible. It was horrible, horrible. Oh my God, so gross. Like the ones that look like little corn kernels. So nasty. Like when I found them on him, I was like crying, and my dad was having to take them off because I couldn't handle it. But they come with a ton of diseases. I'm sure you guys know that. So just make sure your dog is up to date on vaccines and is on some sort of flea and tick prevention, because that can seriously affect them, especially if they catch a disease, or it can lead to heartworm. It can just protect your puppies, okay? And then last but not least, make sure you guys pay attention to exercise with your dog. Obviously that's dog dependent. If your dog is, more chill than not, like my dog, I obviously have to prioritize exercise like all the time because he is a hyper beast. But you have to realize if you're on a road trip, if you're traveling, your dog is going to be inside the car most likely a lot more than outside, unless you're doing something along the lines of what I'm doing, where you are taking your time and going slowly, so that way you can allow them to be outside of the car more. Like Blue is outside of the car most of the day. But if you, let's say, are on like a month-long road trip and you have to get to here, here, and here, and you're traveling 8 hours a day, make sure you still take time to stop, let your dog out, run them, walk them, whatever it is that they need. Pay attention to your puppy's exercise. Okay, I know a lot of this seems like common sense, you guys, but that is literally all I do with Blue. I pretty much, like I said, this video is just me being like, be a good dog owner, but I mean it. Like, I think a lot of people, it slips their mind that your dog's quality of life depends on you, especially when they're in a confined space like a car and they're traveling outside of their normal environment. Just be careful. Those are all of the things that I do with Blue that I take into consideration and that I prioritize with him. That's pretty much it for me and Blue. And for tips of traveling with your dog or living out of your car with your dog, I know you guys are probably waiting to see Blue. A lot of you guys only watch because of Blue, which I get, because he's an angel. But anyways, I'm gonna go get him so you guys can see my baby. Oh my gosh. Can you sit? Oh, this 65-pound puppy. All right, you guys, this is Blue, my 4-year-old Australian Shepherd, and 1/3 of Roman Reckless. Oh my gosh, I'm out of breath. You're getting fat, Blue. Look at my baby. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for watching. Blue said go follow him on Instagram at Australian Blue, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye. He's like, Mom, what the heck? What you doing, puppy? Puppy. Say bye. Say bye.